And welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys. Obviously, waking up today after remembering the Supercopa defeat. It's difficult, you know. I think we're all in the same boat right now. There's frustration, there's anger, there's disappointment. And I think many of us are just thinking, you know, how do we get around this? Every single time in a game like this, we come up against it, it's a big occasion, and we just find a way, time and time again, of shooting ourselves in the foot. And certainly, guys, I can fully understand if, you know, right now you're just not interested, you just don't care, say whatever you like and just get it done. But I think many of us also want to talk about what happened, we want to analyse it, of course. And the sad thing is, and the really disappointing is, we're kind of used to this now. We know the drill. And again, it's time to dissect a disappointing display and, of course, the reaction to the big moments in yesterday's game, and in particular, Messi's red and what that means. It's all coming up in today's video, so let's get to it. But I do want to start first and foremost with one of the bright points from yesterday's game. And believe me, there were not many out there, but the one person that I do want to talk about, and I spoke about it briefly yesterday in the match review, it's Antoine Griezmann. Because I do genuinely feel very, very sorry, not for many of the players, I've got to say, but the one I do is Antoine Griezmann, because yesterday, he actually did what we signed him to do. He actually arrived on the big occasion in a cup final, and finally, he delivered in a Barca shirt. 2 big goals, and yes, you can say, you know, they were tap-ins, they were easy finishes, but we all know it's about being in that right place at the right time, a place that Griezmann hasn't always been, and he hasn't always scored those easy goals, but yesterday, he did it. It was a big display from him, and he should have been rewarded with the trophy. But of course, due to our bad defending, lack of focus, poor play, we ended up losing the game, and quite clearly after the match, Griezmann, he was incensed. I really felt as though he was angry, frustrated. This is what he said after yesterday's game. He was asked how the players were feeling, how the team reacts there to losing in the Supercopa final. He said, how do you think we're feeling? He said, we're angry, we're annoyed. He said, when you lose a final, you've got all of these bad feelings. He said, we made mistakes from set pieces. He said, we'll have to work on it. He said, we didn't defend well. We don't talk. He said, when the ball goes out, somebody's got to shout. He said, we didn't communicate well. And quite clearly there, Griezmann, honest, I think that's refreshing in itself. And he's disappointed that his 2 goals didn't give us what should have been a win for Barcelona. I also want to bring you a quote here after the game from Ronald Koeman, who of course came under immense criticism once again in the Spanish media, and certainly the spotlight is very much on Koeman once again. He said no. He said it's not a step back for us losing in this game. He said a title is convenient to show that you're on the right path. He said, but we've still shown that we are. He said, we've done everything to win, but we were very tired. For many players, it'll prove to be good experience to play in this final. And look, on the one hand, I can say that, yeah, over the past few games, we have shown that we were moving in the right direction, and the trophy wasn't essential to show that, but we failed. It doesn't matter about the fact we didn't win the trophy. It was how we lost. This was another game where we mentally crumbled, and we can't accept that as fans. And I think it's absolutely incredible there that Koeman would say we were tired. Well, if we were tired, which everybody could see that we were, why didn't you make more changes? Why didn't you actually rotate that team a little bit more to give us some freshness? But no, we insisted on driving those players into the ground. I think they are somebody like Pedri. In the last few games, he has clearly been fatigued. He's been nowhere near the level that we saw a few games ago, and I don't blame him, not for 1 second. He's a young guy who, of course, he's enjoying playing so much football, but you don't want to burn him out. And I think Koeman here, he has to understand, you've got to use your squad. And that's the problem when you have grudges, like what he has with Ricky Puig, when he doesn't really like Miralem Pjanic. When you start there to single out players and cast them aside, you leave yourselves lacking in your options. We saw that yesterday. And if Koeman continues to do that, I've said it all along, it will hurt him in the long run and not the team. But I also want to focus on something here that was brought up from Mundo Deportivo. They actually wrote an opinion piece there in the morning news, and the headline read as follows. It said, Koeman repeated his plan and Marcelino saw him coming. I thought that was a really interesting piece there, because they went on to say that basically Ronald Koeman lined up with exactly the same team as we did during our win against Athletic just 10 days ago. And basically that Koeman was trying to play in exactly the same way to get the same result. We won 10 days ago. Koeman tried to do the same thing again. But football doesn't work that way, especially against teams who are well coached, who have somebody there who's going to look at what you did, who can plan against that and can counteract that. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. And I think that says a lot there that Marcelino, who's only coached Athletic for 3 games, he was able to predict what we were going to do. He was able to create a game plan there to really hit back at us. And I think when you look at that Barca team, it should be beating Athletic. There's no excuses whatsoever, not for Koeman, not for the players, not to beat that team. But Marcelino outcoached Koeman. It's as simple as that yesterday. Koeman tried to repeat what he did. He tried to do the same thing. It was too predictable. Marcelino there was able to adapt his game plan, and ultimately, he came out on top. And the one big criticism I'd have of Ronald Koeman, and I'm not excusing the players here, the players are also to blame. We've spoken about their mental attitude. We've spoken about their mental strength many, many times. But the one problem I've always had with Koeman, and I know many of us feel the same way, is the in-game management. Because when we've been losing a game, have we ever, and I mean ever, seen Koeman make a change, find a solution, switch something up to actually there turn the game in our favour? Because I feel as though every single time we've been losing in a game, Koeman, he throws players on, he tries to get as many attacking players as possible on the field, but it doesn't change anything. We are relying there on the players and the individuals alone to get us out of trouble, and it doesn't work, and it will not work over a consistent period. And I still don't believe that Koeman is able to influence games, and that's the point of a coach. That is what the coach is there for those little tweaks, to find solutions when your players can't. And so far, he just hasn't done that. But of course, aside from the loss and aside from another capitulation from Barcelona, we do have to talk about that moment at the end of the game when Lionel Messi received his first ever red card in a Barca shirt. And that, for me, it still shocks me now to look at that and actually think, is that Messi? Has Messi really just done that? Because it was so out of character. Now, the latest on that Messi front is that the competition committee of the Spanish Federation, they will meet this week to decide the length of Messi's suspension. Now, in Spain, when you get a red card for something like that, it is not set in stone the amount of games that you are going to be suspended for. Now, on Tuesday, it's expected there that it will be confirmed how many games Messi is set to miss. Right now, what we do know is that it's going to be a minimum of 2 games, but there is a risk that that suspension could be doubled, with some cases in this instance resulting there in a 4-game ban. But it all depends there on tomorrow, how serious the committee views the foul, and the ban will be served, I have to point out, across the Copa del Rey and La Liga. So Messi will endure that ban in competitions there that we have to come in the very near future. I also do have to point out, though, according to the Spanish media, Barcelona are ready. If that suspension does happen to be longer than 2 games, they will automatically appeal straight away. If it's over 2 games, they will come in and say, look, that is not acceptable. We're going to appeal that decision, and then that will be taken further. But if we just look here at the fixtures for Barcelona, we have Cornellà in the Copa del Rey coming up on Thursday. That's kind of good in a way because Messi wouldn't have played in that game anyway, so that's one easy game there that he's going to be suspended for, but that's no problem. We've then got Elche away from home. We've then got Athletic Club at home. Imagine there if he could come back in that game in the league. We've then got Betis away and Alaves at home. So games coming up, they're not massive games where necessarily we really need Messi. But of course, if he's fit, when he's available, you want him in the team. We want that suspension to be as short as possible. But let's wait and see tomorrow to see how it all ends up. Coming into this weekend, I did not expect this. And so indeed, guys, that is where we leave it in today's video. I want to give you all a big thank you here for tuning into the video. I know that it's not easy after these kind of performances, after these losses. Like I say, we've been there before. I know it's not easy to come back and watch the videos and get involved, so I really do appreciate that. We will keep on fighting, guys, and we will keep striving for a better future, whenever that may be, especially given the elections have now gone back to March. It's tough, and it is difficult at times, but keep it together and try to stay positive. I will see you soon, guys. Thanks again. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.